Hey guys, this is a really exciting day for me because I am starting season 2 of Bootstrap Bitch. If I can figure out how, with video, not just a podcast, but an actual video that I will then upload to YouTube. And so for my first guest for season 2 of Bootstrap Bitch is one of the OGs of Bootstrap Bitches that I've known for almost my entire life, and this is Margaret Marsh Staib. Margaret,
Hello. I'm so happy to see your face. You have no idea.
I am happy to see your face. It reminds me of home.
Yeah,
Margaret, we've known each other since we were like
14, maybe 15. Yeah,
husband is one of my best boyfriends from when I was 8 years old, and he's
yeah,
still a dear friend.
yeah.
So these Margaret and her husband Andy um, are two of the most important people in my life, and they represent home for me because they're still back in Long Island. And,
Yep.
and it's
Always trying to get you here.
trying. I am trying. I told Anthony, I was like, I'm on a 4-year plan. Okay, you can come with me or you can stay back. I don't care. I'm moving back to New York. I'm
Yeah.
not back. So we just have to see where the two little ones end up.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fair. So Margaret,
Mm-hmm.
have had a very special journey in your life that, well, you can say it better yourself. But Margaret's had a journey that few, I think, really understand. And Margaret has really made it her mission to bring awareness and to take it out of the darkness and into the light. So, Margaret, can you tell us about that?
Sure. So, Alicia has known me forever like this, right? But 19 years ago, I became like this. So this is me now. I got alopecia when I was in my 40s. I won't say how old I am. No, I'll say how old. I'm going to be 56. So,
Yeah, girl.
and I didn't know what it was at all. My dad had passed away on New Year's Day. He ripped his own trach tube out in Huntington Hospital. And a month later in February, I found my first spot, and it was a small little tiny spot at the nape of my neck. And then another one right next to it. And then it was this big softball sized spot. And, I still had hair, but it was falling out like tinsel. So I went to a dermatologist, and she gave me steroid injections in the back of my head for 3 years. And the only thing I got from it was a nice angel kiss scar on the back of my head, as opposed to hair. So every time I went in the shower, it would just fall out like tinsel all over my hair, all over the shower, all over everything. So yeah, I am a bald bootstrap bitch.
Now, do you think it was caused by the stress of your father's illness and passing, or was this something that was already genetically within you?
So alopecia is an autoimmune disease. It's clarified as an autoimmune disease. Of all the autoimmune diseases, I always say I'll take this one. There are many physically debilitating autoimmune diseases. I can still work out. I can still get out of bed. I'm not in pain. I always say, it's an emotional and mental disease where it affects you emotionally and mentally, and not physically. So yeah, I mean, it is just, it's caused sometimes by an extreme trigger, right? So obviously maybe that was my trigger, because we didn't expect him to die, but now, I've gone through the grief, and I always laugh and say, you can grow my hair back anytime now. I'm no more stressed than the regular woman with 3, grown women and running a household and so on. At the time my kids were small, right? So It's your immune system. And I have the same MAP genes that someone with rheumatoid arthritis has, or diabetes. We can put them side by side. And it's been proven by Dr. Cristiano out of Columbia University that it is an autoimmune disease. So if someone says, oh, you're just stressed, or, it might be a trigger, but it's not, they still don't know. It's like the 3 C's, they don't know what caused it. They don't know how to cure it. And it's insane. So, and there's no map, like everybody's different. I still have my eyebrows and eyelashes. That's a gift. I can tattoo them if I lose them. I could put fake eyelashes on. But everyone is different. Everyone, if you put, 20 alopecians in the room, everybody's alopecia is different. Nobody is the exact same. So
That's really interesting. But unlike, say, diabetes or how do you pronounce that word?
Rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah.
Or,
RA. RA is the easier way.
yeah, RA. I would agree with you that I would much rather have what you have than that, because I know people who have that and it's debilitating. It's just
It's debilitating. Myasthenia gravis, you could go on and on. Athletes that all of a sudden get it out of nowhere. Why me? I'll take alopecia, like let me keep on playing tennis. Let me keep on playing basketball. I want to be able to throw that football, but that in turn, it is a grieving, right? I had to grieve my hair. I had to learn how to be Andy Staib's bride that he married with a full head of hair to, and that being said, he was amazing every single time. Like I said, it's a grieving. In the beginning, I cried a river, right? Like you're grieving part of yourself and you can't control it. If you think you can control alopecia, you so cannot. Like it has a mind of its own. It's going to do what it wants to do, whether you're on drugs or not, so he listened to me every time I cried, like it was the first time. And that was a gift. So I was able to really grieve it and really mourn it on my own time. And there was no like, okay, come on, hurry up. You got 48 hours to cry over it. And, you're bald, like, put a wig on and move on.
right.
I had to learn, let's get honest, you're getting into bed. I, in the beginning, had my little bandana off and I was so conscious of like, was it going to fall off, having sex, and now I'm like, let's go, no hair. I'm used to it, I had to learn how to feel sexy bald. And that took me a long time, you're looking in the mirror. It's like anything, like we start to change, right? We start to see like, there. I saw like big change in the mirror, no hair. That's, huge. And eventually I see me, and look, role models got me there. There's a lot of people with alopecia who are, pretty famous, and we can thank them for going out, what Rachel Flett, who just is an amazing, oh my God, like, she was like an idol, right? I saw her at an airport once and I was like, hi, we're friends on Facebook, but you don't know me. And I just want to say, you just, like you need those people that say, I can get out of bed and walk this earth as a bald woman and do it well, and also let yourself have the moments when you're in the supermarket and you see a woman in front of you. God, I miss the scrunchie in the ponytail when you could just haphazardly like take your hair and like put it up messy bun, like, oh, you feel it in your gut,
So but what were the steps that you took to find that beauty that you equated with your hair, to find the sexiness that that was part of what you felt with your husband, and
right.
how you were perceived by the world? Like, how did you find that?
I think you gotta like, to be blunt, like put yourself out there and put yourself in situations like anything that are really uncomfortable, you know? Because if you don't, you're just living in this moment of the now and not what has changed. So, little steps where, I have alopecia areata, right? So I have like little patches. If I didn't shave this, I would look like a chia pet to me. I held on to that little piece of hair that was like the size of a Sharpie, and I would put a beautiful scarf on. I sewed all these scarves, and um, I can thank this wonderful man that I have known since we go to Lake Champlain every year, as you know, Andy's favorite place on earth that his family goes to every year. And there is a gentleman there. His name is Doug Smith, and he just turned 81. And every year, as a young mother, on the rocks, reading my book with my little bandana on, his boat would go past and he would say, "Would you take that off? Take the scarf off." And like the thought of taking my scarf off and having people see my chia pet hair, no way. And then one year he said to me, "Margaret, just shave it. You got a rocking head. Like, just shave the head, shave it." And we always go July 4th weekend. And it was July 4th weekend, 10 years ago, maybe. And I said to Andy, "I can't hear Doug Smith this year." And I texted him. I said, "I'm going to the barbershop in Green Lawn, New York. Meet me there. I'm shaving it." And he was having pizza with Dudley, our friend that Alicia has known since forever. He said, "Duds, I gotta go," And right when she had the shaver to my head, I looked to my right in the doorway, and there he was. And I thought, oh, thank God, because he's been with me since day one through it, And he walked over to me, held my hand, and, it wasn't so bad. I almost wish, like, damn it, Doug was right. I should have done this so long ago. There was something freeing with it, but everyone grieves differently with everything, right? So that was my grieving process. That's how long it took me to shave my head. And I never looked back. And looking in the mirror as a bald woman was a little easier than just, look what I'm losing. Look what it's already lost. So if we go away on vacation, I am bald the whole time. I'll never see these people again. And that was the beginning. And now it's easier and easier the more you do it, the more any fear, fear of flying, fear of heights. If you flood yourself, what's the expression? What we resist persists, right? So I was resisting something, and I got it back in twofold,
I think it's I think we're ready to put aside things that are no longer serving us. I think we're ready to move past whatever it is that is holding us back, once we're actually able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I will say the best thing I did, because when I was losing it and I was getting the shots and so on and so forth, and I said to my dermatologist, my sister-in-law went through breast cancer. A support group saved her life. It was like great to have somebody else going through like anything in life, right? And I said, how come there's not a support group here in Long Island, only one in Manhattan? If I'm going to Manhattan from Long Island, I'm getting home at midnight. I've got 3 young girls, and that's the other reason I had to kind of stop crying. I have 3 young girls. I have to let them know I'm not just my hair, I'm so much more than my hair. Because that's my cross to bear in life, right? So the hope is that what you're teaching your children, that if they have something else in their life that's a cross to bear, they know they can tackle it, and they can have, support. So I started a support group on Long Island for women and men that have alopecia. And that was the best thing, because we share stories. I now have a proper response. If somebody, I'll never forget, this one woman was telling a story about a woman that was asking me questions about it, and I wasn't really quite ready to kind of share what was going on. And this woman looked at me and she said, the best response for people like that, you just have to look at them and say, why do you ask? And so we learn things like that, and we can commiserate with someone saying, well, at least you don't have cancer. At least all the comments, like, we can commiserate because we're all walking around bald, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. A man in my group who's lost everything in a month's time, emasculated, hair nowhere, strapping, handsome man. And that was so hard for him. New York Times put a man on the cover of the science section when they did a piece on alopecia, because I can put a wig on. I can tattoo my eyebrows. Can a man do that? No, his world is rocked, right? Like, what he sees of himself is completely different, where we can have some sort of my old self, right? Or this new self. I have two selves, so.
How did you
But
get about your support group?
pardon?
You get the word out about your support group?
So there is an organization called the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, and it's called naf.org. And you sign up. I'm also phone support. I mean, look, it's like anything, if we had everyone in the world going to a therapist, our world would be much better. But not everyone wants to go to a therapist. Not everyone wants to go to a support group. They just want to talk to one person on the phone, and they don't want to get in their car, and they don't. So I'm both. So NAF put out a flyer, and they sent it to anybody that's a member of NAF. Maybe they get their newsletter or so on and so forth. So it kind of like started trickling in, and it's the expression, if you build it, they will come. And then, as of late, it's, wow, people are really not coming. New people, we have the same, the only time I don't have a support group is in like December, when everyone's busy, and July, because we're at the lake and I'm bald. So but dermatologists do not tell people about my support group, because it's easier for them to write a script, right, than it is for people to have acceptance. So the people that have come to my group, almost every one of them has seen one of the top dermatologists on Long Island, same person. He has never told anyone about my group. They find out from a whispering of a nurse. How sad is that? Can't you do both? If you choose, look, there are JAK inhibitors, which you can take to have some results. It's a new thing out there. It's an immune suppressant. That's not the road I personally choose to go down. I would like to walk my children down the aisle. I would like to not have that chance of developing cancer, but that's not to say somebody else's choice that does take the JAK inhibitors is a bad choice. That's their personal choice. So
what's the dog in the fight? I mean, I don't understand why a doctor wouldn't want their patient to find peace with their condition. I mean, the person can still take a pill. It doesn't mean that they can't go to a support group.
At the same time, right? I mean, this particular person, when I was going through it in the beginning, I said, I just had my babies, as he's writing script after script after script. Is this going to make me gain weight? I feel like I just lost the baby weight. And he looked at me deadpan and said, look, you want to grow your hair back or not? And that was his response, number one. Number two, I went to go fill the prescription at my pharmacist, and he looked at me and said, I am not filling these for you. This is enough steroid to kill a horse, Margaret. There's no way. That was frightening.
Wow.
So, hence, didn't do that. And, the people in my support group are the friends that I've that's the gift of this whole thing, right? I have girls that have started when they were in high school, and now they're married and have babies. And like, I look at that and say, we have given us all support through the years to kind of know that we're not the only bald chick on Long Island, or like the only, it makes a difference. It really does.
I'm going to stop right here because I'm going to end this Zoom and then resume you because I have to upgrade. So we're running out of time. So I'm going to stop this here and then I'm going to resend you. Okay. So we'll pick it up.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. I'm going to have help me. Okay.